Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this new edition of Wise Women Weekly presented by Enlightened Networking. I am Monty Patterson coming to you all live from Columbus, Ohio, where I am excited to join you each and every week as we bring enlightened thought leaders, industry professionals, and just all around incredible people that are helping you to create a business and a life that you love. Last week we had a really good time answering all of your questions and we did a little bit of role playing, I think, if I remember correctly, but mainly we answered your questions and were able to interact with all of you, which was so much fun because, you, our listening and viewing audience, is why we're here. We're here to serve and we're here to really be there for you. And I hope that you all just, have had a wonderful time going back and viewing that. And so I just wanted to welcome all of you. Robin, would you like to say anything to those who are listening today and watching?
Oh, of course. Thank you, Monty. Last week was really, really fun because we listened to your questions, your challenges, your objections, and this is a safe place to really look at how can we be successful in our networking profession from the softer side. And you guys had some great questions, so much, and we heard back from people that it was so valuable that we might do it again if you'd like. So we are here to, like Monty said, be of service, and this is a place for people from all different businesses. We don't talk about any products or companies. We're here to be of support on the softer side. So.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And so that's why we have so much fun doing what we do, Robin. And I am so excited about Teri today. I've had a chance to go over, her bio and look at the website. And you're even more vibrantly beautiful today than you are even on. I was thinking to myself, like, oh, she's so pretty. And I'm looking at you today and you're like just glowing. And as you said, she's angelic. Can everyone see, how she just glows?
I think I'll get your PayPal account right now and send you mounds of money. Keep on talking. I like it.
You're just absolutely stunning, and I can just tell we're going to have so much fun today on this hangout, and I'm really excited that Robin has connected us, and now we're able to bring you here in this platform and share you with the rest of the world and this viewing audience. So I am excited. So I'm going to allow Robin to share more about who you are, Teri, and then we can't wait to go into the interview to hear from you and to hear all the exciting things that you have done and what you're doing now and what's working now. So it's going to be so much fun.
I like her. I like her a lot.
I told you she was fun. I told you this is good. And Monty and I we enjoy being together, and we love this profession, and we love sharing with people on how to enjoy the profession and enjoy your life even more. And that's one of the great reasons that we brought on Teri Werner Hobbs with us today, because this is a woman with an amazing background of 30 years of being not just a coach, but she is an expert coach, and she is accomplished also as a trainer. And when people are around her, they have breakthroughs. And when I say breakthrough, and we're going to hear more about that from Teri, it's a personal and a professional, because it's the same thing. It's us. And so I met Teri many, many years ago through the Direct Selling Women's Alliance, which, by the way, is changing to the Direct Selling World Alliance in the near future. And as you've heard me share many times before, that this profession is typically owned and operated by men, and the majority of people in the field are women. And so DSWA was founded to really be of service and support. And Teri's going to talk more about that in a little bit. But when we met, there was like an instant bonding, and we've had cups of tea from Dallas to Bozeman, and we always look forward to that precious time together, because she's a gem, and she's a catalyst, and she is here to be of service, and she comes from the place that Monty and I have talked about of, deep connections and building relationships as a foundation for our success. So Teri is also a certified trainer with the Direct Selling Women's Alliance, and she is a certified coach. And realizing that a lot of people, when they hear the word coach, don't quite know what that means, and how does that pertain to our profession as professional networkers. So I want to get things rolling and just share with you one of those great beings in my life, and a woman who is of great service to our profession to help people, and have her share a little bit about her background, and then we'll jump into some wonderful questions. So Teri, welcome.
Thank you so much. I just think you two should just keep on talking. Just to me, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I wish I'd been recording. Well, I guess we are recording this, right? Yeah.
We are.
Well, it is always an honor, Robin, to meet anyone you have introduced me to. You're a part of my heart, and love you dearly. And Monty, I already love you. And I have found that people of excellence surround themselves with people of excellence. And Robin, you and Monty both obviously are key to that. And you just keep on exuding that. So I'm excited to be here. This is a great honor. Thank you.
Love it. So, Teri, I love what you just said. That was so beautiful.
I know, it was. I was just sitting here going, oh, that was awesome.
When women get together, isn't it wonderful?
It's beautiful.
We get to hang out together and do great things, and that's what we love about this profession. And so I know you have a fascinating background, that you've been 30 years in our profession, but before that you've got some pretty amazing success. So would you share a little bit about your background, Teri, and what brought you to what you're doing here today?
Wow, I'm pretty old, so that could be the whole hour. You'll be like, oh my God, don't give so much information. Actually, I love direct sales because I love everything about it, primarily the connecting. To me, it is such a wonderful profession because you get to be who you are. The more you're who you are, the better you are at what you do and who you are. And so it is one of those wonderful life-giving situations that is just something you want to hug, you just want to embrace. My background is I got into a direct sales company when I was in my 20s. And the primary benefit to me from that experience was Zig Ziglar he and Dennis Waitley, Dr. Dennis Waitley, were the two motivators. And so I bought the Tape of the Month Club. I was the Tape of the Month Club back when we had tape cassettes in the car. That's how really old time it was, long ago. And I just hung on to every word Zig said. And he made a statement one day that I embraced in my heart, allowed it to change my mind. And I now call those statements a statement of change. It's something that you participate in and take action on, but it has to be something that hits your heart, that really does unlock some doors. And that's one reason I feel like I'm called to what I do now, is I feel like what I do in coaching is I unlock doors of the heart that create changes in the mind, and transformation happens in their business, in their life, and relationships. So from a statement that Zig made, I made a 10-year plan, and I was going to do this business, this particular business that was part of my heart. And in, I think, the 10-year plan, I was going to have like $2,000 or $3,000 a month. I didn't know what I could make. I was young, and I ended up instead taking that company public on NASDAQ with my father as my co-founder of the company. He actually was his brainchild, and we brought it together. And so I learned at an early age that merging passions and purpose does create prosperity. Mm-hmm. And that, I believe, is the earmark of leadership, is really finding people's passion and their purpose and going forward. So from that point, I learned all the do's and don'ts, or a lot of do's and don'ts, or some do's and a lot of don'ts on what to do in business. And I formulated a mentoring and leadership company from that. And what I love about it was the ability to really connect with people at their heart level. I believe all intentions come from the heart. And it's those intentions that move us. That's how you move people forward. That's how we're moved forward, is what our heart connects with. And, like I said, now I feel kind of old, and it's been decades ago. And I'll tell you, the one morsel of truth I think that has lasted through the decades is really allow peace in what your heart connects with to lead you. And I wish I had done that all my life. I did not. I made a lot of money. I lost a lot of money. I made a lot of friends. I probably lost some too along the way. The lessons that are learned really give us a legacy of leadership to lead on. So that's kind of my story.
Whoa.
I just continued in direct sales.
That was major. Say that again. That was a chill bump moment. That was chills. The lessons that are learned. Wow. Say that one more time.
The lessons that are learned, and really it's the lessons that we embrace and take notice of and take action on, are those things, those lessons that give us a legacy of leadership. I believe we are leading with legacy of leadership. Our legacy, whether we think we're leaving one or not, whether our actions seem to indicate it or not, people are watching. Our kids are watching, our grandkids are watching, people we don't even know are getting it about us.
Wow.
And they're being taught how to leave a legacy, and that legacy is in them. And that's what I love about this business is we're changing lives. We're changing the entire directions of generations because of what we give to it.
Whew.
Now that's a little heavy. Are you ready for a cup of coffee?
No, that was. You see me got going. I'm just like, wow, that was. You know, sometimes when you hear things, you need to sit with it for a minute. And I had no idea you were going to drop one that was so, you know. I thought I was ready. I told Robin earlier today, I said, oh, we've got this, you know, having no idea that this being in the form of Teri was just going to come and just drop something that was so profound. You know, you said something, and I'm going to let you go back to that, Robin, you know, because I know you've got to soak that one in for a minute too. So, so, you know, I'm thinking about that because so many people right now, Teri, are going through, you know, these states of, you know, stress and, you know, because if maybe business didn't go the way you wanted it to go and maybe things didn't line up the way we wanted them to. And you said something that was such huge confirmation when you said, essentially, let peace be your guide. And then you talked about the lessons that we learn become our legacy of leadership. And that was one of the things when you said that, all of this memory came flooding to me because that was one of the things. I've got 3 sons, and one of the things that they said to me that I'd never thought about before, and they said, Mom, things may not always have worked out the way you wanted them to, but one thing we know is that you never gave up. You would get up, you would dust yourself off, and you would begin again. And I didn't know that I was leaving that legacy. I didn't know that they were watching that, you know, in me. So to hear you say that, it just brought all that back. And I mean, I kind of got a little teary-eyed trying to absorb that because we don't realize how many people are watching what we do. And you know, that was so profound. You just know that's going to be a tweetable and a Facebook quote after we're done.
Okay, good.
Robin, go ahead.
Oh my goodness! You know, Monty, you said it. I mean, Teri, you could cut me too because I'm trying to take notes and trying to look in the camera, and because there's so many things that came out of you that were really profound, and that the legacy piece for sure, and then merging passions and purpose creates prosperity.
Yeah.
And that. I just hope if people take just 1 or 2 nuggets that you get those few things. As this woman, she jumps right in there. So I'm you know, I was trying to take notes and taking notes without looking and and really trust our intentions from the heart. So who you are as a being of heart and who you are as someone who deeply, deeply cares. And, you know, we share this love of our profession. So I'd love to move on and continue with we've got some real specific questions for you, but we're open to go wherever. And that's kind of what we do as women is, you know, we play organically and we let the spirit guide the way here. And I've got 2 exquisite women of spirit here that love this profession. So, Monty, why don't you move on with some specific questions so we can learn some more about what Teri does.
Awesome. Okay, so Teri, I know that you are a DSWA coach. What is your reason for choosing to align with the Direct Selling Women's Alliance?
Well, a couple reasons. One is I believe there's something that is just part of our heart. It was part of my heart to be part of something bigger than I was. That something I could plug and play my message and my heart into, but that was part of a larger movement. And, you know, I believe DSWA, now known as the World Alliance, has had their growing pains. They've gone from early stages right into clear adulthood, and now they're recognized worldwide as the distinctive difference that is being made in the direct sales profession. And you know, a little bit of my story, it's kind of a joke every time I speak with Nikki Keohoho, the co-founder. You know, we joke about it that I met her on the first night she was introducing DSWA in Dallas, Texas, and you know, ever. was the first, it was the embryonic stage. And me being me and believing in connecting at the right time, I basically, as she closed her notebook, this little mimeograph piece of paper on DSWA, I stormed the stage and just said, "Hi, I'm Teri Werner, and you need to know me." Um, and the honest truth is that that really was not the truth. The truth was I needed to know her. And Nikki and her daughter Grace and their family and DSWA, it has been a life-changing evolvement for me and involvement. And from that moment on, I've been a part of DSWA. And it has just been a truly amazing thing to watch how the insights and the training of DSWA really does make a difference. And the coaching portion, the systems they teach you how to coach, it's a system we use that really is an understanding and awareness of how to coach, focusing on the people. And I have seen unbelievable change take place in my own life and in the lives of women that we coach. And it is something that makes my heart sing.
Wow. Wow. That's one of the things that I took from that is when you said that you noticed a change in your own life. And I think that's what we notice when we coach, is we notice that it changes us just as much when we are able to experience the transformation of someone else. It also transforms us in the process. And that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. What do you think about that, Robin?
Well, the word coach, a lot of people don't really understand it. And, when I go back to, when I listen to what you just said about when you and Nikki met, I had the same experience. It's like this wow experience that I know it was a game changer for me too. That something was going to be different in my life because of that meeting, and so many things that I could have never dreamt of, and to watch DSWA go from those early stages, because both of us were there in the early stages, and now that it's matured and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people all over the world are being touched by it, and how blessed they are that you're one of their certified coaches and certified trainers. And so those words, coaching and training, seem to get a little confused sometimes. So I know that you have a wonderful way to help people understand what is that distinction and how does that impact our businesses in the profession.
Well, first I want to just speak to the difference I experienced in coaching, because I have a feeling that probably 90% of the people who are going to be seeing this may relate. This may resonate with them. I was what we call a D personality. I'm still a D personality. Dominant, when I see it, I go for it. I used to even tell God, I know you're busy. You've got a lot to do. There's a lot of people that can't manage their life, and I feel bad for them. So I'm going to go ahead and do mine. And I'm going to let you know how it goes. We'll do a little bullet point summary every now and then, kind of do some touch points. And God had another idea, and that's a whole nother testimony story. But I was very forceful. I was high I, which is the influencer, laughing, talking. Let's talk about our hair and our shoes and all that. And at the same time, I was also dominant. And I will tell you that probably many of the bumps and grinds in the whole business and relational history I had were probably very much due to the fact that I had one way, full speed ahead. I had no yellow light, red, green, that was it. And I was happy to impart to you whatever you were doing that was probably incorrect. Nikki met me and saw. I think she attached herself to me a little bit because I was like a living learning project, She could be like, oh, I can develop my whole training around what to do with her. And I should be asking for a royalty, but I think we're way past that. So the coaching Nikki gave me, as we would connect and as we were together, and there were times she would stay in my home when she was in town and different things, as she would coach me. And truly, it was a combination of her coaching through the DSWA program, all the different things we train on coaching, and the work of God in my life. And I will tell you, people that work with me, people that are in relationship with me, say, thank God for NK, Nikki K, because it was a transformational difference in my life, a literally transforming experience. And so I saw how that worked for me. I saw, wow, if that can happen to me, my whole languaging changed. We have something called enlightened vocabulary. And trust me, mine needed a lot of enlightening. And so I am truly a different person today than I was 10 years ago, largely due to the coaching and training. And I will also say that I'm a very faith-based person, and definitely I'm not going to avoid giving credit where credit is due. So the difference between training and coaching. Training is telecentric. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm going to train you, and here's the bullet points, and please take notes. It's really about the material that you're training 100%. Coaching is about the person. It is about really connecting with that person at a heart level and really making sure that you are focused on that person. You train during the coaching process, but you train and coach during that process. So you're going to train a little bit, and then you're going to coach. A true coach, there's a lot of people running around out there, calling themselves coaches that have had some level of accreditation. I'm an accredited coach, not a certified. I haven't gone through certification. I'm accredited with DSWA. They're out there acting as coaching because they got enough information. And actually, some of it is a little damaging to people. You know, it's more like a coach, give me 10, give me 10, give me 10, versus, you know, a whole coaching approach about the person. So coaching is actually asking the quality questions that helps the person you're coaching to find their own answers, versus telling them their answer long enough, hard enough, strong enough, convincing them that this is their answer. And eventually they're just so tired of it, they say, okay, I give, it's my answer. Coaching is their answer coming forward from them. So that's why the breakthroughs are so serious and so, you know, really extravagant. The breakthroughs are accelerated because it's their answer. So how many years, decades have we spent in direct sales convincing people that our chocolate was the very best, high level, whatever, the, you know, folk potions, you know, everything, convincing them, versus asking them questions and connecting with them at a heart level and asking them a question that will help bring about their answer. And the ahas you see on their face before you ever hear it from them, it's monumental. It is absolutely life-changing.
Wow.
So that's the difference.
Whoa. Well, let me, love it, love it, love it. So for people that have had the experience of someone trying to convince you, what's that quote? Those convinced against their will are of the same mindset still, versus what you talked about with asking questions and having people access their own information. I don't know if you know this, but do you know the origin of the word coach?
I think it's a Greek origin, but I may not be correct.
Well, what I was taught many, many years ago, and I don't know if this is correct either, but it sounds great. It goes back to 16th century England. And what kind of coach did we have around at that time? It was a stagecoach.
Oh, stagecoach. I was going to go.
You know, and so the word coach coming from stagecoach, and the definition was to convey a valued person from where they are to where they want to be.
Beautiful. That is beautiful.
And so what you said is it's all about them and what do they want, and our job is to ask the questions. And so and I loved what you said in the beginning when you talked about being the best you can be, because then you're going to be successful instead of trying to be someone else. And so in this profession and it is a profession, coaching, and there's all different kinds of coaches. So, and we're going to talk about that in a little while, of how to find a coach. But I think it's so profound for people to understand that distinction that is oftentimes confused between training and coaching. And when, and DSWA has this powerful program, and I know they have some great statistics, Teri, of what happens to people when they actually go through coaching with a really, really good coach.
Right. One thing I'll mention as part of that is the training, when you train someone, you're going to get 22% retention is the analytic, 22%. When you combine training with coaching, which is what we do in the coaching experience, there's 88% retention.
Whoa.
88%.
Huge.
That is a huge, huge difference. So combining those two together, which is what we do in the training and coaching in the coaching experience, is just mammoth and proportions. There's a lot of different analytics. We have had some companies do isolated analytics with those people trained by DSWA and those people not trained by DSWA. Same rank, same product, same division, same everything. And the difference has been quite monumental. We have seen up to even 300% increase.
Wow.
And that is in all levels. That is in retention, that's in recruiting, that's in revenues, and that is in rank advancement.
Wow.
So obviously to a corporation as well as to the field, representatives, this is something that really hits home in a large way. And this was actually an analytic by a company. And so that is one reason the DSWA trainings have become so sought after, is the results.
Wow. So amazing. Money, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I do. And there's so many things, kind of going back a little bit, to one of the things that you said I thought was so important, because I've been trained and I've been coached, and I have trained myself and have learned to coach. So, and there's a major difference, because I remember, and speaking to your point, Teri, is I remember when I was first trained and I went out to do, and it was really about entrepreneurial training, and I went doing, what my trainer, or what I thought was my coach, taught me how to do, and it didn't resonate with me. It wasn't something that I wanted for myself, and I went and I went and I went, and I remember having to go back and say, you know what, this doesn't resonate with me. This doesn't feel right for me. And so that was really, really awesome. But then I noticed what happened once I found a coach that asked me the right questions, and then I went, doing the same thing. And I remember what it was like when the first person asked me, how did I do that? And I remember asking my coach, well, how did you do that? And she said, I didn't. You did. The answer was within you all along. And, it was just really about shifting the perspective and helping me to see and being willing to look at what really resonated with me and with my life and my business. And so I think that's really, really awesome.
Well, and you had a good coach. A coach that said that to you was a good coach. And there are some great coaches out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Robin, are you still there?
She looks frozen in time there.
Yeah, I see she looks frozen in time, and I don't see you on the screen anymore, Teri. Can you see me?
Yes, I can. But for a while, your screen went to your set picture. I could not see you while I was speaking for a while.
Okay.
So there's some things going on, but I can definitely see you now.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll just kind of keep going and allow Robin to tune back in. I would like to know personally, what do you attribute to your success, Teri, that has made you such a successful coach and experience your own personal breakthroughs? And also, part B to that question, what do you attribute to yourself that helps you to give people such incredible breakthroughs?
I would say that I've always had a strong ability to connect with people at a heart level, and I think that's very important, to connect with people at that level where you really forget about yourself, what you're doing there. Everything is really about that person. And connecting with that person at that level really requires an authenticity. It requires that really you're just who you are, that you're being with that person. One thing that we talk about with DSWA, to bring that up, is the STAIR, is service, trust, authenticity, integrity, and respect. That is the guidelines of the entire, of all our trainings, of all our coaching. That is the guideline. And so really being who you are with that person, first of all, you can connect at a heart level so much easily, more easily. And the other thing it does is it gives that person permission to be who they are. People follow what your lead. And so being able to really lead in with your heart and really just connect with them at that heart level. And I think one thing that people experience in coaching with me, testimonials have proven out over the years, is they break through known and unknown obstacles at a very fast rate. And that is because I use the system of DSWA. I'm very much involved in all that. I'll also bring some transformation of my own coaching into the picture, use some visual, just very much connecting with the heart and asking. It was, I believe, Emerson that said, the courage of the questions you ask are directly relative to the success of the outcome you receive. And
Wow.
so asking, I think I'm a little brave there, or very brave there, and I ask the question that is going to bring them to their own answer. And that, I believe, is part of the success, and part of what I see in coaching is asking those questions. The very first thing we always do is ask permission to coach. So once you get permission, then you really are allowed to really follow their lead and to bring forward them to that point of breaking through some things. The testimonials are constantly coming my way that, oh, I broke through something that had held me back for 25 years, 20 years. It's very common. The thing that keeps holding the pattern in place, that is the pattern they really don't want to keep in place in many situations, is the very thing that they have not had the courage to ask themselves.
Wow.
I think that finding life-changing questions to life-shaking answers, or questions rather, so it's finding answers to the questions maybe you have not been courageous enough to ask for a very long time. And I have a program that I do, in coaching, is just asking one question and letting that follow, the path. And then we have the ICU awareness, we have, ICU acknowledgement. And then at the end of coaching, we want the agreed action. What are you going to do about it? And we get that agreed action and accountability. I think all those things together is really what brings so much value. But I like to think of it when I go into a coaching scenario or meeting with someone, a session, I like to think of it as getting to the heart of the matter. What is the core thing that is driving the behavior, the situation, or creating the disappointment? And a lot of it too, Monty, I think, is giving hope. So many people, by the time you've lived any life whatsoever, 20, 30, 60, whatever years, you've had disappointments. You've had delays. And if you're not careful, those distractions can become just a spiraling down, a downward situation. And I really believe that understanding what words mean, distraction means to eliminate traction. It's not just a word we use, oh, don't get distracted. Don't let yourself get distracted. No, it is a really very negative situation that can come into a life, distraction. And so I really think keeping people in their heart and really keeping clear on, what is your passion? What about this, fulfills you? And, different question, that keeping them in the place where they can find their emotional why gives them the breakthrough. And it's so fulfilling to watch, to just see it happen.
Wow. You've said so much. It's just like I'm sitting here and I'm absorbing it, and if we weren't live, I would probably be standing up and talking to my computer screen going, yes, that's so good. In fact, I know that I would. I have never looked at the word distraction in that way before. I've looked at other words, but I've never looked at distraction in that way. Just the way you said it, it just, again, caused that shift in perspective, simply to lose traction, to basically to drift. And that is really, really fascinating. I mean, you said so many things. I want to go back to one thing before I let Robin, jump in here. You gave an acronym, you said service, trust, authenticity,
integrity, and respect. That is STARE. That is the guiding principles of DSWA.
I love it. Love it.
And, the service part, when you really get into the coaching experience, you're there just to serve. You're more or less, like you said, Robin, building a bridge from where from where they are to where they want to go, and just helping them, carry them to that place and help by their own, by their own answers.
Wow.
And it's a, I don't know, it's just a genuine. I'm genuinely very grateful for the opportunity.
That's so beautiful. Robin, I know you have something to add to that. I've just been thoroughly enjoying myself.
Oh boy. Well, I'm sinking into. I didn't realize I was getting coached at this same time. So
Yeah.
we're playing multiple roles here, and I love what you said, Teri, about courageous questions. And to me, questions are one of the most, if not the most powerful tool we can possibly use for our own development. And it's the questions we live in. And if people don't have the courage to ask them themselves, I'm hearing you say that it's the role of the coach to ask really courageous questions to help people live in that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, courageous, and also with the training of DSWA, one thing that helped me a lot in coaching was to turn those courageous questions into quality questions. So ask them in a way where they didn't feel like I shot them. They actually were enjoying the process versus that was courageous, but And so there are ways to ask the courageous questions with quality in it, where the question really is empowering in itself and helps open the doors that sometimes get closed in the process of disappointment. Disappointment can be so difficult. And I really think the path to devastation is disappointment, delay, distraction. Sometimes we look at the delays in life and think, that's a denial. It's not, it's a delay. And just on a personal note, one thing that I really believe in that is not part of DSWA, necessarily, it's just what I believe in. I believe there are things in our life called intersections with destiny. I believe that embracing that the plan is bigger than we are, the process is more than we know, and to trust both and know that the slow ups in life, the changes in the terrain, the detours, so to speak, many times they seem like there's a delay. They're keeping us from getting someplace at the right time. I believe with all my heart that those intersections we arrive at, we get right there at the right time, right where we're supposed to be. That all of it was a plan. And that when we embrace the path and realize, you know what, this is bigger than I know, just a split second impact can change a life forever. One phone call can make a business, a life, a dream come true. And really embracing this path. This has helped me so much to understand that, I don't work so hard at trying to meet the right people and going here and being at the right place and all that, because I know, like I used to when I was in traffic, I'd be pretty heavy foot. I'd be like, oh, I'm late. The train was always on the track. It's always those kind of things going on, when you're running late. And I've really gotten to the place where I just embrace it and go, you know what? Maybe there's something up ahead I'm not supposed to know about. Maybe there's something behind me I'm really not quite closed with yet. I don't have closure with yet. And allowing the path and the process to continue and know I'm going to be at the right place at the right time. And wherever I am, that person needs me and I need them. They have questions they haven't asked. They have answers they need. They have a connection they need to make. They're wondering about a life-changing question. And if I believe that I carry that, whether it's my business or who I am as a person, when I walk into that situation at that moment, I know I'm there, I'm part of their destiny, and they're part of mine. And I truly embrace that as really my motto for my life, because I've seen it happen so many times that when you release the outcome and you really embrace the path, the journey, I'm telling you, one thing can happen that can make your day, make your life.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. I think everyone can take really a big exhale on that one, because so often we think, that high D energy that we are in control, and the truth is we're not. And if we
Hmm.
do relax, because I don't know, are you okay with taking a little detour into a intersection with destiny for a moment with me?
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
Are you willing to share a little bit about your personal life with one of those intersections with destiny that's very, very current and recent?
Yes. In
Because
fact, I
I
hadn't
think,
thought about sharing the intersection with destiny, and when I said one phone call can change your life, I thought of
I
that.
think,
No, I'm about to
I
tear up.
think Yeah, well, it just you talked about giving people hope, and
Hmm.
that story is a really, really beautiful story that I think
Thank
will give
you.
a lot of
Yes.
people hope. So,
Yes, I want to share that. That would be great. Thank you. And if I cry, the makeup went on, it'll go off. Um, when I say that one phone call can change your life, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I got a phone call that changed my life. I had been crazy, crazy, crazy about this boy when he was 15 and I was 13. And my father and my mother were ministers, and we moved to another state, and they moved to another state. So they moved to California, we moved to Iowa, and that separated us. And we had never really been together. We had never, like one day he touched my hand. We'd never held hands. We'd never done anything. I just knew the minute I met him at a prayer meeting one night, I thought, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I like it. And he is looking pretty cool to me. I just was like, something's good about him. And so we moved and we disconnected through various, growing and all that kind of thing, changing. And 45 years later, he decided that he would call my father, who was still living and is still living, thank God, and just say thank you. Just say, what you started in my life continued. I just want to thank you. He was kind of wondering, I wonder what's going on with her. Is she married? Does she have grandkids or whatever? And so my dad said, well, Terry's standing right here, I guess wanting to pawn me off on any living person. I don't know, what he thought. And David and I spoke, and we both sat on our mutual sofas wherever he was, wherever I was. He was in California. And when I tell you, it was like a tsunami of emotion that just flooded me. And I was like, oh my God, what in the world are you doing? And I was just like, my mouth was just like dropped open after the conversation. And we decided that we would just see what it was. And, I said, I'm a life coach. I'm not basing a future on a past. So let's not. So we didn't tell anyone but maybe 4 people in our lives. And, really at first we were just friends. We just talked and were friends for several, a few months, just decided, I wonder, we just kind of supported each other and helped each other and prayed together and different things. And then we decided it was the right time. And several months later, he came to town and we met, and it was like the closer I got to the airport, the happier I was. I got out of the car and just said, oh, we did it. Okay, it took 45 years, but we did it. This is great. And from that moment on, it has just been a great life. Just peace. The one thing I kept feeling more and more through the whole process was peace. And really, I had this version of what I was supposed to have in my life, because I had made this story up. And God had his own ideas. And, we couldn't be more compatible, but it would not have been what I would have thought. I wouldn't have thought we were compatible, but we're very, very compatible. And really, I tell you, honestly, I'm living a dream. I am very, very happy. He's happy. He's living here now in Dallas. I inherited 10 grandkids and 4 grown kids and their spouses, associates, and partners. And it's a learning curve for me because I've never, I had no children. I had businesses. He had kids. And, you know, his are going much more successful than some of mine. And it's just been an amazing thing. And what's so interesting is we go to malls, we go wherever we go, people will pull us over, just kind of pull us aside at the middle of a mall and say, I don't know what your story is, but I know I need to hear it.
Wow.
And we tell them, and they tear up, and they said, I needed to know this. And I've been able to tell, especially women, he's very good. David's very good about stepping away, so I can do some talking heart to heart with the woman. Then he steps back up when I say, well, let me tell you what hoping one more time did for me.
Mm.
And I think it was, I had been through some very serious train wrecks. I wrote a book called Train Wreck to Triumph, How to Heal from Train Wrecks in Your Life. I'd been through some very serious, very devastating things. And that's really what helped me as a coach, because I became so empathetic and compassionate about what happens in lives. And going through so much, I really embraced, because it helped me connect and to know that things that happen in your life are there to take you to a place where you never dreamed you would be. And there is help, there is hope, and there are real tools that help you. And so that has really helped me, and I really embrace the path that got me here. And it's so interesting how many times it's easy to give up on hope. It's easy to say, I've closed that door. I mean, in fact, I had gotten to the point I hadn't dated. I told God, I want one man, I don't need two. You created a universe, surely we can do one man. He needs to come to my door. I'm not putting on lip gloss. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not going on one more date. No more online things. I don't want to email. I don't want people from Facebook talking to me about my eyes. I don't want anything. I want, these military people thinking LinkedIn is match. But all I wanted was just that person. I said, I want him at my doorstep. I'm not doing anything about it. And just, I guess I just kind of feel like someone may be watching this at some point and just wonder, why can't it happen for me?
Yeah.
Why can't my business grow? Why can't I find love? Why can't I have just that one relationship? And I want you to know, I really want to encourage you, hope one more time. Hope one more time. Don't give up on hope, because hope has to be connected to faith for something to happen. And just know that everything that you've gone through in life creates, I want to say this one last thing. One thing we have really embraced, because we look at 45 years of lost time and go, oh, wow, that would have been good to be together. And you know what? We really have come to understand and embrace the awareness that we had to become who we are to be able to be with each other. I believe we knew each other when we were young, so we'd recognize each other now. And we had all those twists and turns in our life became what really created us into who we are today. And we are seeing many people affected by this story. Many people are touched, and they hope one more time. And I'm seeing men and women come together after we tell this story. I'm seeing things happen in lives where actually they're calling me and saying, you're not going to believe it. I hoped one more time. I did what you said, and he came to me, and I'm so happy. And I really think that happiness is found when you become so content with yourself, and you're in peace. And that peace brings promotion. So that's my story.
Ooh, good one. Peace brings promotion. That's a good one. Write that one down. I just have to say, this has just been, I am blown away by you. Like, your energy, I'm really trying to keep it together, because like there's all these behind my eyes tears flowing, and joy and gratitude, and there's just such an abundance of love and wisdom that pours from you that is just so beautiful to witness and to be here. It's actually difficult for me to even be here and interview, because I'm getting so much out of this. It's such rich, heart-centered content. And that's one of the things that I love about what we do, and I love about these connections. And I know that people who are listening are feeling this. I mean, to hope one more time. I mean, that is so huge, and intersections with destiny, that's such a big deal because I used to look at those things that would happen, and I realized you said something so huge, and it just keeps everything that you're saying is just flooding everything back, and you're seeing how everything was filled with purpose. Every
Mm-hmm.
tear, every pain, everything that we perceived as a wrong turn, it birthed compassion.
Mm-hmm.
It birthed patience. It birthed resilience. Things that and it also, like you were saying, talking about hope. It birthed hope because when you go through those things, you understand that now you know that you can come out and you can come out victorious, and things can be okay again. And whether that's with a personal situation or even with a business situation,
So
so many
true.
times people are tempted to give up and to say, you know what, I can't take this pain one more time. And when you said what you said, I mean, it's just everything about it is just resonating with me on a very, very deep level. And I'm just really grateful for it. I know this is not the end of the interview, but I just had to just stop you and
Thank
say,
you.
this is just rich, good stuff. And so, Robin, thank you for this because all of you are getting to see and witness and experience this because of Robin and the connection that she had with Teri. And this is just a gift for all of us. So, thank you all.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Well,
Robin, I'll stop.
no, no,
I'm gonna
we
take a
don't.
sip of my coffee on that one.
Yes,
Ah.
take. I, we come together every week to be of service, to support each of us in our personal and professional life, and we are aligned in this wonderful profession called networking and direct sales, and bringing someone on like Teri who embodies the best of what this profession is about. I mean, I'm getting, like Mani said, so much personal value too, and to realize that all of our experiences are part of the bigger plan. I think the
It's
book
true.
might be Hope One More Time. That might be
Yes.
the name of that just may be the name of the book. Who knows? But you have so many books in you. You have such depth and breadth of experiences. And it appears to me that, the richness of your life has given you tremendous courage to ask those harder questions, and that someone came to you to ask those questions and to see, part of a coach and a leader, I think, is to have the vision for someone when they may not have it for themselves. And
Mhm.
so can you talk a little bit about what you do as a coach? That you've talked many things, but what else, where do you come from that allows so consistently for people to have profound personal and professional breakthroughs, Teri?
I think it basically starts because I was trained by DSWA and accredited their system. So people get the 5 points of coaching, which includes ICU acknowledgement, it includes compassionate feedback, and it includes, agreed action and accountability. Um, the serving part of what we do is so profound. And of course, to know Nikki and Grace for 6 seconds, you get the part that it's really not about them, it's about everyone else in the room. And I think just listening to my heart, connecting with them so strongly that it comes to me through their answers. I ask the next harder question and the next question. And sometimes I ask questions that surprise them, which I have a tendency to do on purpose because I believe, we put up a lot of barriers, a lot of defense. We make up our own story. And sometimes I just want to say, and I've said this even in direct sales when I was doing direct sales. Now as a coach, I don't do that. I coach people. I would say, how can I help you write your story? I believe everyone has a story. And how can we help you write the ending to that story, write the journey of that story that you want? And it's really just about connecting so profoundly. Um, with me, I am very visual. My background, the company I took public was an interior design company for churches. So I see visuals. I'm very visual. I see every detail of things. And many times I will get kind of an image that tells me about the story of them, that says, like they're stuck, and I'll get this kind of visual of the mud you get to before you go to the deep and go, what's keeping you back from going into the deep? to really just plunge yourself into the opportunity, into your relationship, into your training, whatever it is. And really, to me, it kind of comes to me in that way, but it comes from what they tell me. I feed off of what they say. I'm also a keynote speaker with DSWA, and I'll make my notes and I'll have all the content ready, but it's the audience that pulls it out of you. You know, that message is for the audience, not for you. I already know the information. I've said it 100 times. It's for the audience. And so truly having the coaching experience with someone who is just willing, they're just ready, and they're
Great.
just so open, and they trust you with their life.
Wow. Wow. Well, I've got so many more things I want to ask, and Monty probably does too. There's two things I want to make sure we cover, and one of them, because we keep referencing the World Alliance, the DSWA, the Direct Selling Women's Alliance. It's all the same thing. As you know, I know there's more programs, and I know another thing is some people are probably asking, you know, how do I know if I'm ready for a coach, and how do I choose a coach? And Monty, are there any other questions you want to make sure we answer, because we have about 5 minutes left?
I definitely want to make sure we talk about her book.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. So which question first?
Let's see.
Do Robin's question first.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so how do you know if you need a coach, right?
You know, it's you know, how do you know if you're ready to have a coach, and how do you choose the right one?
Okay. Well, you know you're ready for a coach when you're willing to give permission to be coached. When there's some place you want to be that is not where you are.
Mm-hmm.
When you're really ready, you know, I'm going to make a change, and you know, I need someone to help me bring the very best part of me to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And willing to trust and willing to give permission. And how you find a coach, I believe that, truthfully, because of the standardized training and the coaching system of DSWA, it's very important. That's a very important thing. I believe connecting with an alliance that has that offering and that has those results on a consistent basis. My results that people get from me are not really, I think, all that different from what they receive from almost every coach with DSWA. I know I do things a little differently. We all do things a little differently, but the core of our understanding and awareness are the 5 points of coaching that we go into. So I believe that is very important. Follow testimonials. And, you know, when you connect with a coach, you know, we do something where we call a free discovery coaching session, where you have a 30-minute free discovery coaching session. That gives you an ability to really connect. And you may have a coaching session with someone, you're like, you know, I like her, I'd have coffee with her, but I just don't feel that connection. And that gives you the opportunity to do that, to really see, how is this experience going to be for me? And you'll get enough out of 30 minutes to know.
Great. Those are wonderful, wonderful guidelines for people, because I think a lot of people are now getting very inspired that they're ready, and the coaching program from DSWA is such an exquisite one. And you said read testimonials, get, you know, connected with someone, try for 30 minutes and see how that is. Monty, you have anything to add to that?
I just think that it's really beautiful, and I would like for you to just really quickly, if you could, share with them the benefits of becoming a member of the DSWA.
Oh, wow. I don't know if we have enough time. A lot of benefits. For one thing, for a very small amount per month, you're able to get access to all the archived leadership calls. We're talking everyone from Nikki and Grace to Les Brown to, you know, myself, many, many other people. And that is archived. You can listen to that 24/7. You can patch your team into that and use that for your training calls with your team. The resources, all the leadership material, the Build It Big book, the More Build It Big, all those materials are available on our site, and they're very powerful. There's people that take just the Build It Big book and take a chapter and use it to train their team every week. I mean, you don't have to reinvent a wheel. We have a wheel that's on a very great vehicle that works really nicely, and the results prove prove it out. We also have the DSWA insurance and benefits. We have discounted Office Max. There's a lot of different discounts and programs that are available. They spent 16 years now, I believe it's 16 years, finding the best of the best. To really going through certification and accreditation with DSWA is not a picnic. I mean, trust me, what I have to learn in training is about a foot deep of 8.5 by 11 material. It's very content intensive. That's why it creates the dynamic results. So that's part of it. I would also, because of your association with DSW, when you become a member, you get a lot of information, newsletters and so forth, that tells you about our coach school. We have a 3-day coach school that is very deep in content again and intense in information that really does help you really get a lot of the benefits of coaching. You really understand it. It's enough to kind of help you in interaction and in relationship building with your team and so forth. It's very strong information. And information is not transformation. But as you get the information, then you also experience the coaching and all that happens. That we have other trainings. The Rising Star training is a 1-day training that really does approach coaching and team building, sense of community, visionary planning. Just the visionary planning portion could change an entire business. So we have a lot of different, Elite Express, a lot of different trainings. And what helps really is to tap into the DSWA community, and then you just build such great relationships. Robin and I met probably, what was it, 2005? I think something like that, and we have just kept this very strong, relationship. And what comes out of that community that you build within those relationships, they each have their own, community, and just the, the value of what you learn.
Wonderful. Awesome. Wonderful. Well, there's, so do you have a book you want to share about?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't really planning on mentioning it. The book I mentioned that helps people heal from a train wreck. I've had little boys come up to me, like when I speak on it, and they'll say, "Did you break your leg in the train wreck?" I think I actually had a train wreck. I've never met anybody who had a train wreck. I was like, oh, that may be too literal. Hopefully not. The book is Train Wreck to Triumph, and basically it's a book that helps people go through the healing process of getting out of the train wreck. Some people get healed, but they stay in the train. Get out of the train, go on with your life and find an accelerated path and go from being stuck on the track to making tracks. And it just helps people. I don't tell my story of what I went through that needed this. And the process of my healing process actually created the book. It's a very simple book to read. It's a journal workbook, and we have a lot of great testimonies. I think, when people go through some very tough things, it changes even what you think may be available, how you think, how you feel. The person you are in the midst of that trauma is not always the person that operates at the highest level. That which you thought you knew, you may not think you know anymore, the disappointment. This just gives you actual illustrations of how to walk out, how to get out of it, and how to go on healing. And there's part of the book that tells you how to help a friend that's in a train wreck. Unfortunately what happens a lot of times is the friend gets in the train with the friend that's in the wreck walks out, and you're like in the middle of their trauma, and they're doing great, So it helps you. It just is very practical. When I went through some very tough things, I made a statement: if someone will tell me what to do, I'll do it. If you would have written a book, I'd have read it. If you had a CD, I would have listened. I was desperate for destiny. I have a CD I've done actually that talks about being desperate for destiny. Desperate for that thing that's going to make a difference.
Awesome. Wow. Well, I'm going to just finish up here and then turn it over to Mani and just ask you, Teri, if someone wants to be in touch with you. I know that you just found out that you are going to be a contributor to the Networking Times, and if people are not familiar with Networking Times, it's a periodical of our profession. It is loaded with wonderful resources, and it's quite an acknowledgement that Teri's going to be in there on her articles called Connecting the Currency of the Sharing Economy. So if people want to reach you other than reading, going to your website and reading with Networking Times, what else would they do? How would they find you?
I would love for anyone to connect with me at teri@dswa.org. And that Teri is Teri at dswa.org. And just send me a note, and I'd love to do a discovery coaching session with you, or just get connected with you. And if you're interested in the coach schools or any of the trainings I've mentioned that are all so dynamic and life-changing, truly life-changing, then do the same. Just email me, and I'm happy to connect you in any way we can. And
Well,
I'd love to be connected. That's my thing. I love to connect. So connect with me.
I am just deeply, deeply touched and very grateful to have you with us sharing. This is definitely a wise woman sharing this week, and I'm thrilled that we have you, and we have it on YouTube so people can find it there. So, Mani, I'll let you close things up for us.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you again, Teri, for sharing from your heart and enriching our lives in this moment. Robin, thank you again for this platform. I'm so honored to share it with you. And thank you to all of you who tuned in to this edition of Wise Women Weekly. We will see you again next Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we'll continue to bring you more great content just like you did today. We're just getting better and better, and it's so much fun. So we'll see you all next week. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.